Hi, back again for something special. I want to put you in touch with some paleo recipes, some of which are suitable on the total exclusion diet. Some of the recipes, they'll need a little bit of modifying. But for example, if you're okay with egg or this or that or the other ingredient, then you can get some really delicious things while sticking to the general principle of the paleo diet. Now, paleo just means Stone Age. It's a geological term, and I've been writing about the caveman diet or the Stone Age diet for over 30 years. In fact, it was a joke in the UK. They used to call me the Stone Age doctor, and I used to say, well, I don't have, that much grey hair. Not many people got the joke, but anyway. It's something I became known for. In fact, I was interviewed on TV, the BBC, I think it was, one morning, and they had these guys run in with clubs and dressed in skins to participate in the interview. Well, that's the way it was. But then, back then it was difficult. If you wanted substitutes for wheat or you wanted gluten-free, wasn't easy. If you couldn't take dairy products, yes, there was soya milk around. We all know there's potential problems with that. But had none of this, luxurious choices that we've got now, nut milks, almond milk, rice milk, oat milk and so on. It's only got better. Still very much a personal journey though, a sort of crusade through the kitchen. And then all of a sudden it's crept up on me that in the last year or two at the most, there's been an absolute explosion in paleo. I went to Australia, there was paleo cafes, and I was going to say on every corner, that's an exaggeration. But they were common enough, you could see them everywhere. And now, and this is the point of me shooting this short video for you, is there are some fantastic paleo recipe books. This is my favourite, in terms of recipes. It's by Julie Bauer and George Bryant, and some of the best paleo recipes I've ever seen. However, I've got to warn you about the CrossFit cult, which these two belong to. CrossFit is this really mad personal fitness caper. It is a cult. People, at the very least, it's an addiction like heroin. People get hooked on it. But it's culty in status. And the problem with it is that people get injured. They just go crazy pumping weights and doing exercise. It's the stupid mentality, like allopathic medicine, that if some is good, more is better. So, they just become absolutely extreme at workouts. And if you talk to chiropractors and people who do hands-on body healing and so on, they have a steady stream these days of people that have been injured by CrossFit. So I do want you to ignore all that, okay? But otherwise, this book is a terrifically good one. The Paleo Kitchen, Julia Bauer and George Bryant. I got my copy at Costco in the USA, so it's become sort of mainstream in its own right. But look, there are some fantastic recipes in here. Using simple everyday paleo foods. Once or twice you meet some, for example, honey. Well, honey actually is a paleo food in the sense that cavemen could get it. In fact, as I keep saying, almost tongue-in-cheek, a glass of wine or beer is paleo food because people could get fermented and alcoholic products. If you want some fun, go off to YouTube and look for drunken elephants. There's some wonderful funny videos of animals, and particularly elephants, getting themselves drunk eating fermented marula fruits. And I mean really drunk. Elephants were staggering backwards and forwards just like a human drunk, crashing against trees and knocking them over. Very funny. So, that is in a sense natural. However, this kind of book doesn't feature alcohol, of course. That's just one of my personal jokes. There's another one here which I found sometime afterwards. Viv likes this one, and the theme of this is Mediterranean paleo cooking. Well, in a sense you'd think that's the best of two diets, the highly anti-inflammatory Mediterranean diet plus our natural paleo. You see, paleo eating means basically eating what cavemen could eat. So meat and fish, fruit and vegetables. There was none of what I call farmer foods, and that's grains and crops. Those are the ones that cause the most trouble, the most inflammatory problems. Then there are synthetic foods that came on after that, things with sugar and tea and coffee. and then of course modern weird stuff. So what a caveman would be able to do is basically hunter-gatherer. They would walk through the forest, they could gather fruits, they could gather nuts, they'd kill an occasional animal, maybe catch a fish, and they drank water. That's pretty well it. As I said, there's one or two strange exceptions, like occasionally collecting honey and occasionally, seasonally, being exposed to alcoholic fermented fruits. Okay, now I'd like to recommend a website to you as well. It's from a lady called Teresa Cutter, and it's called healthychef.com. She has some fantastic recipes. This is one of the most healthy carrot cakes you're ever likely to eat. Viv made this for me, and trust me, it's delicious, but there's nothing in it, I mean, apart from eggs, in fact. So, you know, if you're tested for an egg allergy, you're going to have to use some kind of binder like gram flour or some other egg substitute. But for those of you who can hack the rest, it's really good, and it's mostly carrot. I mean, it's like having your 5 daily veggies. All that's in it really, or the main ingredients, are carrots, almond meal, which is the substitute for flour, if you don't know that yet. Ground up nuts, especially almonds, are good because they're moist and sweet and give things a nice taste, and eggs. Teresa also adds raisins, which makes it a nice, attractive looking fruit. And she uses it, well, you can use any kind of sweetener like maple syrup, the real thing, of course, not synthetic maple syrup, honey, as I said, or date syrup. And the rest is just flavoring like nutmeg and vanilla. It really is most delicious, and I can highly recommend it to you. Anyway, from the opening of DietWise Academy, I did plan to do some recipes. There are a few very simple little treats in the book, DietWise, as you probably know. But I'm pleased to say that the arrival of books like this has really made that part redundant. All I have to do is call your attention to them. My tip would be to start off with the Paleo kitchen. As I said, ignore the CrossFit nonsense and propaganda, just go for the recipes. They're very delicious. So you can start to enjoy yourself in the kitchen and turn out delicious foods that the whole family would fight over, frankly, and not exactly resist. They're so delicious. All right, thanks for listening.